We want to let go of our past grievances and let go of our past definers. And we actually also want to let go of our future fantasies and future possibilities. We want to see if we can stop swinging from here to there, because the ego will say anywhere but here. I'll be anywhere but here. Like, just for shits and giggles, maybe we could try out like just being present. Just a thought.
Great idea. It is the challenge, isn't it? To just stay present, stay in this moment, stay here and not get distracted.
Yeah, and the theory is that our good is at hand. So as good as you think you're going to get some sort of future goal, like if you're not here to enjoy it, what are you grasping for more? We're like most of the time, like sort of like asking for more with our mouth full. Like, can we be in the digestion of this moment and the marinade of this moment and the sweetness of this moment? Like, look, I'm preaching something I don't always practice, but like I'm thinking that that's the optimal idea in regards to experiencing limitless energy. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about energy. So what is energy? What is our relationship with energy? And how do we honor it? So the first step is to recognize that we are, each of us, energy, that we're part of this great universal fabric. When we recognize that, in that awareness, we get to experience this idea and ideal that leads us to the realm of infinite possibilities. Because this energy is limitless. Energy is limitless until we start to direct it. And it's like water. Energy is like water. We have the idea of current, with water, we have currents, and with energy, we have currents. And current means belonging to the present time, happening or being used or done now. It's like, what temperature is the current flowing at? And stifled energy is like stifled water. It gets dense and it gets stagnant and it gets sickly. And that's why movement is essential to our health. But what we don't always understand is that movement is essential to the health of all areas of our life. Energy loves movement. Energy needs to move. So if you want more love, move love. If you want more money, move money. If you want more freedom, move freedom. The energy of fear hoards and holds and contains, and the energy of love extends and expands and emits and expresses. And we're constantly at choice, faith or fear all the time. But when we think about it in an energetic way, I think it's interesting. So faith grows and it flows from the decision to move with the knowing that our good is at hand, that we live in a friendly universe, and that all things are planned by one who knows our highest and greatest good. This is what we would call faith, like to live in that. And we don't always live completely in that. Of course, we vacillate, but that is the way that we can help energy move. So what does that look like? Optimally, what does that look like? To have that degree of fearless faith of the optimal outcome is like kids at Christmas Eve, right? Kids who are not carved and crushed by a lifetime of broken hearts, like many of us have been, kids who are still impeccable and untouched by all of the annihilations that can happen in this world. There's still these pristine little like rose-colored glass people who are like, it's gonna happen for us, That's a beautiful thing. And it's a beautiful thing for us to be willing to recognize that we can wake up we can wake up and we can revitalize that experience of full engagement. So fear says, I know this will not work out for me. And faith says, maybe, just maybe. And fear retracts and faith radiates. And Beth and I did a talk a couple of weeks ago about being radiant and feeling into those two different energies of restriction or radiating. And you get to decide how you're going to turn the direction on your own channel, because there's only two directions, faith or fear. And optimally, the choice to affirm that you're here to radiate the energy of love, is a way of truly honoring this energy. When something radiates energy, it's not attached to it, but rather it's an instrument that allows this energy to flow through it. So you would no longer be saying like, look what I did, or, oh my God, look what I did. The I would no longer be helpful or useful or necessary. the only real way of using the holy I in a helpful way after you maintain this space of fully understanding your energy would be simply to say, I am that I am. And in this statement, it moves us to radiating with everything as opposed to relegating, which is what we've been known to do when we're trying to get our way, is we relegate as opposed to radiate. So this energy is transmitted through you, and it's transmitted through me. And as we talked about a week ago, all we need to do is to surrender into this energy, to recognize that everything is everything and everything is love. And because when you do that, when you give up everything for that awareness, you're given everything. But Ram Dass says, you get it all when there is no you to have it. So that's the thing there. But that's okay, because we're all not really there yet. It's okay, we're walking towards that, and we get to see like what are the levels of moving towards that consciousness. So I thought it'd be interesting to look through the 4 kingdoms of consciousness that were established by Reverend Beckwith from Agape with the idea of energy. So as we look at the 4 kingdoms of consciousness with energy, the first kingdom would be that feeling that the energy of the world is pressing down on you and that you are wearing cement shoes and walking through water. It's a really thick and heavy and dense experience. And the consciousness of this realm, or the unconsciousness really, is to be committed to the idea of duality, where there's something out there that is causing me issues. And it's like, it's pressing down on me. And in this energy, it's called the victim energy, or what I would like to call manic energy, because it's crazy. It's crazy to think that there's something against you. It's the personified idea of a separate mind. And in that agreement, we're experiencing a fractured state instead of a holy state, and basically making up hell. So we've all lived there, right? We've all had the experience of feeling like everything was against us and nothing was for us. In order to move out of that dense energy, we move into the next realm of energy. Is what we need to do is take responsibility by saying, wow, the world sucks here, 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 and here, and I'm the common denominator. So it's like, oh, it's me that needs to change. So let me take responsibility for what? For my thinking. At this level, we're still working with our thinking. So it's our thoughts that we need to work with, and we take responsibility, and we've read all the books and seen all the slogans that say, change your thinking, change your life. And so we do, we change our thinking, we change our life, and we begin to direct the energy. This realm, we hear these slogans of like, what you focus on increases, and where your energy goes, that's where your goodness flows. And so this is kind of really cool to get out of victim and to move into a little bit more liberation. It no longer feels that heavy, but we're still in a sort of a dense kind of energy, because we're still efforting, because we're still directing that energy. And so there's still duality where I am making something happen. It's much better than everything is against me. I would call this warrior energy, where I'm like, I'm going to change this. I'm going to make something happen. And if I called that past energy manic, this energy would be called magic, because it's like, I'm manifesting, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to make this happen. I changed my mind. I changed my life. I'm pulling fucking rabbits out of the hat. I'm sorry, I use that word, but yes, I am. And it's like, cool. It's like these cool tricks that we can do. I got the parking space. I got the shoes. I got the guy. But here's the thing, in that realm of consciousness, we have to be able to actually maintain that consciousness to keep those things in place. And there's a lot of efforting that goes along with that. So in order to shift out of that energy and to lighten up, we're called to give up preferences, to let go of my will, how I want this to be, and surrender it to thy will, to a higher power's will. And we'll only do this, like we talked about last week, we'll only do this if we are sure that that higher power is benevolent, if it's a benevolent source that's steering the ship. And in this realm, you move from manic to magic to miracle worker, and it's still a little bit of work here, right? Because we are working towards being a channel, and you're here to, a channel is something that, you know, allows light to flow through it. So you're here and we're here to be helpful, to serve all. When we dedicate our lives to be of service and to channel God's good into the world, the channel is healed twice, because it comes through you and then you get to see it hit the world, and you get to see twice the magnificence of channeling love. And so it's not something that takes away from you when you're a channel. When you move into that consciousness, is actually something that supports you, you know, because again, like this is a mutual healing. It's not a healing that comes from martyr. It comes from miracle worker. In this energetic realm, that actual state of the miracle worker is what we're going to talk a little bit deeper about today. But just to complete that series of the 4 kingdoms of consciousness, if this is your first time hearing it, there's manic, there's magic, manifesting, and then there's miracle worker, channeling, and then the final realm is mystic, which would be really nice to get to. And some of us vacillate in and out of mystic, but mystic is where we slip into the formless and we get past the definitions of you and me. And that's where we move into oneness and non-duality. And Rumi has this beautiful poem that says, out beyond all wrongdoing and right doing. I mean, just that first sentence, don't you just want to like sit and marinate in that in a little while? Out beyond all wrongdoing and right doing. I mean, we are in a world right now that is just so much about wrongdoing and right doing and who's right and who's wrong. Out past that, out beyond all of that, there's a field, there's a space, there's this holy territory. I want to meet you there, where the soul lies down in the grass and the world is too full to talk about. And the ideas of languages and even the phrase each other doesn't make any sense. So it's like, it's where we go to that space where A Course in Miracles talks about, where it says God is and we cease to speak. Love is and we cease to speak. We just live in that internal bliss, which is really nice until you wake up in the morning and you step on your kid's Lego and you're like, Mother of God, why is everything against me? And then you vacillate between all of the consciousnesses, and it's all there for us. So you can kind of see where you're at any given time by looking at these 4 levels. And we can see when we're moving from duality into oneness. And there's no need to be helpful in this place of oneness, because once we get to oneness, there's nobody else to help. You know, that we've moved up all the levels of consciousness, and the energy becomes lighter and lighter and lighter, and forms become less. And there's less attachment to the forms and more investment in experience. Like then it's all about the experience of now. And we get to move out of past ideas and future tripping and into the present, where we are open to the limitless current, the current moment, the currency of God, of love. So this is where we literally light up, and love lights up. That's what love does. It lights everything up. It illuminates everything. And here at SpeakEasy, the whole theme for the year is pretty on point with that, because the theme is, thanks to our Irish friends, keep her lit. It seems like in this kind of dark and sometimes seemingly divided world, there's like almost no better time, no better theme than the idea of keep her lit, because there's something about those words for me that are so energetically happy. It just makes me laugh for some reason. And when we shared the theme last week with other people, they had an enthusiastic response to us, like, yeah, keep her lit. For me, when I really think about the theme keep her lit, I hear my dad's voice, because my dad was an electrician and he was always going around the house saying like, turn off the lights, turn off the lights. And so keep her lit for me feels like it carries a little bit of defiance with it. You're like, screw you, Dad, we're keeping her lit. And I don't know why. Maybe you can figure this riddle out for yourself. I don't know why, but defiance for some reason makes me happy. So I think there's still like something that needs to be healed there. Anyway, the theme of keep her lit is an invitation for us, in my mind, to not just be defiant, but to understand, like, where are we spending our energy, right? And how can we stay lit? And how can we stay specifically spiritually lit? And the reason we want to pay attention and honor our energy is because energy is our true currency. Energy is our true currency. You may have thought, like I have thought for many years, that money was our true currency. but money is simply a form that we use to exchange energy. So literally, it's slips of paper and silver coins that are neutral, that we've given this meaning to. So understanding our true currency of energy will actually affect our prosperity. It actually will affect everything. So when it comes to energy, the most healthy, wealthy, and wise experience that you might want to invest in is peace. And then after peace, movement. But moving from peace is the first goal. And I know that that might sound a little bit crazy to invest in peace. The Course in Miracles tells us like that peace is our goal. And peace actually is not just the goal so that we can get to peace, but it's the goal so we can get to the foundational experience where everything else can grow and bloom. It's a threshold to the party of possibilities, basically. If you come through peace, you are now available to everything, because basically, if you don't have peace, you have nothing. You know, if you're a king and you have no peace, you're a pauper. And if you are a pauper and you have peace, you're a king. Peace is everything. So peace is the entranceway to everything. And peace births forth purpose. All this time we're running around the block reading every book. What's my purpose? What color is my umbrella? Whatever the hell the other damn books that we've all read. And it's like, stop. Don't ask your purpose until you're first at peace. Like, first get hold of your peace, and then your purpose will be provided. And not only will your purpose be provided, but the next cousin that comes in the door is presence. So peace and presence and purpose, they all work together. If you have peace, you will be clear about your purpose. If you have peace, you will experience your presence. That's a power place to be. And that means, and this is the good news, that means when you have peace, that you will walk into every situation with nothing to lose and nothing to gain. Do you know how powerful that is? Like, that really is a powerful position. If you're not in peace, we're most likely searching, so that's the alternative to peace, is that we're searching. But searching by its very nature requires us not to see, because we're searching, so we can't see. And so we get hung up on this idea of searching. I'm finding myself. You're right here. Stop searching. So the idea is to stop searching and to see what is currently there. Nothing I see means anything, says the Course in Miracles. In fact, the first 7 lessons brings us all into this idea about our sight and about our thinking. So if I'm not seeing, it's because I'm stuck in the past, usually over grievances. The last lesson that we did a couple of days ago, I see only the past. We're actually entertaining all of these past ghosts that prevent us from being present. So getting to peace is not always a light switch. I mean, there was just 7 lessons where we're kind of walking our way towards peace. And the reason it's not always a light switch, we're just not going to say, I want peace, is because we have many other goals. I want this, I want that, I want that. Like, peace is like all the way down the priority list. So in order to have true power and limitless energy, we want to make peace the number one goal. I made this decision a few years ago, and it has served me so well. And the other things began to fall away when I decided to make peace my goal, but everything else that I ever needed was provided. So after you decide for peace, you don't have to do anything, because guidance will come after peace. And you already know this, because it says, be still and know God. And you've already said, oh my God, I've been running around the block with my hair on fire, and I just got to get some peace here. And you sat down and you got still, and all of a sudden, all the riddles became slowly unraveled and solutions arrived. And you go, wow, why didn't I think of that? Well, you had to sit down and get to peace first. And here's the other thing. The reason we don't want to sit down and get to peace is because the guidance that comes for us is not actually what we want to hear. The guidance will need you to get out of the way. And the guidance will be the thing that you really don't want to pay attention to. See, after peace, the guidance actually directs us to be helpful. And we're like, it actually wants us to care for others more vulnerable than us. That's what the guidance usually has us do. And as much as the idea keep her lit makes me laugh, like the idea of like care for people more vulnerable than you, or care for things more vulnerable than you, can feel it can make me feel sad, actually, that there's a need for that, and nervous that I'm not capable of it. And maybe that's why we don't get still. Yet there's something so noble and beautiful about living into that guidance. And it's also, when we think about the next step that love would have us do is care for those more vulnerable, it also seems so incredibly obvious and so incredibly needed, you know? And if we are here, as we say that we are, to honor the Divine Mother, we need to honor her ways, right? And what better description or purpose for the Divine Mother after Queen of Peace, which we hear her called Queen of Peace all the time, would be one who cares for those more vulnerable than itself. That's what a mom is known for. That's what moms do. Divine Mother cares for us so impeccably. And you might be thinking, but I really want to influence people and win friends. I don't want to care for those more vulnerable than me. I remember when I was a kid, my mom would be like, my mother was a terrible cook, and she'd say, eat this food because there's children in China who are starving. I was like, I don't care, Mom. Like, there's no degree of guilt that can make your food taste better. It's terrible. So there's a lot of resistance around our like wanting to live into that idea. Caring for others more vulnerable than us can feel like a chore instead of a choice. So what would it take for us to choose that? You know, to actively engage in activities every day that look into and hold in awareness the consideration of the well-being of everyone, or at least of others. Like, how would we move into the all that I am? Like, how would we allow that to happen? First, like, a lot of defenses would have to come down. And you might have to let go of the idea that this would cost you something, but I promise you, it will actually bring you everything. And how do I know this? Because the ego asks all the wrong questions, and the ego has never taken us to peace or well-being or prosperity. It has its grips on scarcity, and that's how it gets us to roll in fear. So if we want peace and wellness and abundance, we simply need to ask the opposite questions of the ego. The ego asks, what's in it for me? And the reverse is, how can I help? And Ram Dass, I don't know if you know Ram Dass, but I just love him. He wrote that book, How Can I Help? And he actually says that, how do we help? We help by not reinforcing the drama. In order to do this, you cannot identify yourself with your own dramas and enforce your dramas. Instead, you have to enforce and identify with your divinity. And we talked about that. We talk about that all the time. Our dramas are in the past. Our divinity is in the present. It's our current state of holiness. And if we want to experience it, it's here for the asking. Now, we all have had traumas and dramas, but like I said last week, and I think it's worth repeating, you can let go of being defined by your traumas and dramas. I mean, you don't have to. I mean, if you want to, because you know you are not your cancer, your poverty, or your anxiety. These things are weather that's passing through you. You're like the holy moon, and these things are just clouds that seem to be eclipsing you, but they can never really taint you. So but you might want to hold on to these definers, because if you take them from me, who will I be? When I was really immersed in being eclipsed by the idea that my husband left me from his universe, like, don't take that story from me. Like, that story was like my security blanket. If you didn't know that about me, you didn't know me. But who was me to be known but this broken version that I was dragging around with me? So you can hold up onto these definers if you want, but remember what the cost is. The cost is that we will have to live in that manic, low-level energy, because that's the victim energy. If I'm going to be known by how I've been victimized, I will have to live in victim energy, and that energy is manic. That energy is crazy. So if you want that, you can have that. But why would you hold off heaven another round of yesterdays if it wasn't good the first time? Like, why repeat it? And listen, I'm asking this question because I repeated that story 1,002 times until somebody finally said to me, when are you going to stop repeating that story? And I was like, that woman is up. I was so pissed at my friend for saying that. I called her every name I could think of. And I went home that night, I fell asleep and I woke up and I was like, I got to sit next to that lady because she's going to tell me about my divinity and not my divisions. So that's what I'm hoping that we wake each other up to today. I will confess that I've gone through, and probably all of us at this point have gone through lots of processes to deal with those traumas. I remember at one therapy session, so much trauma came up that the walls were literally spinning. And I don't mean that in a poetic way, but I would do a disservice if I weren't to invite us into the idea that we don't have to actually go that route when it comes to lifting our energy, especially as we continue to evolve in our communal consciousness. And by we don't need to go there, what I mean is we don't need to process everything, especially if we continue to evolve like we have been evolving. And right now we're seeing people wake up all over the place. And more people are having instantaneous healings in relationships and finances and physicality. This morning, I heard this story that Mia Sarah was reminding us of she was doing this prayer. We were doing a prayer about relationships on the morning calls. And it was regarding her former husband. Maybe she'll tell it to you after. And immediately after the call, he called her. And this morning she was saying, I forget sometimes like that healing can be instantaneous. The Course tells us to simply do this, to say whatever that illusion of separation is, to simply say to it, this need not be. That sounds ridiculously simple. Could that process work? Like Glinda the Good Witch, who says to the witch, you have no power here. Is it that simple? I mean, aren't we supposed to roll on the floor and weep and wail and witness our brokenness? A little bit. So there are many documentations of Jesus's healing, and I'm using him as a master teacher today because he has demonstrated this in such in a beautiful way. But there's this one story that Jesus encounters this man by this pool, and he's crippled, and he's been crippled for a long time. And many people go to this pool believing that angels will come to the pool every day and agitate the water, and the first person in the pool will be healed. So I guess that's where the saying, like, last one in is a rotten egg, because only one guy gets healed. So in this man's case, he was crippled and he was unable to be the first person in the pool because nobody would help him get in the pool. And so Jesus sees him, and he sees him laying there, and he says to him, do you want to be healed? Which, when I read that, I was thinking, that's a silly question. Like, obviously the answer is yes, of course he wants to be healed. He crawled his ass to the pool. I mean, he's sitting there waiting for somebody to help him. But maybe Jesus knew something that we don't know. Maybe ego loves to hang out in the hospital and the 12-step and at the Course in Miracles meetings. Maybe it loves to hang out at those deep pools, but never actually get the healing. Maybe ego is too invested in the process of just crawling around the hole instead of actually inviting in the healing. I mean, who would we be without our broken stories, right? So the sick man answers, yes, sir, I have nobody to help me in the water. And Jesus tells him, well, just rise. Meaning rise to a greater consciousness. Get out of your victim story and rise. Take up your pallet and walk. That's conviction, man. That's major conviction. And this is the same teacher who tells us, like, this and greater things shall you do. Are you kidding me? Like, is that possible? Maybe we could prove God right. So immediately the man is healed and he takes up his pallet and he walks. Now, this is a story about a man healing, and this is a story about sickness, but it also has another layer to it because there's another part of the story, another fact in the story that happens around this healing. And that is that this particular healing happens on the Sabbath day. When the man got healed, he went back and he told all of his friends, this guy Jesus healed me on the Sabbath, which is a traditional Jewish day of rest. And many Jewish people became so upset that he was working on the Sabbath that they sought to kill Jesus. So this part of the story is funny, and as weird as it sounds, for me, metaphysically, it speaks about my resistance around the idea that this could be easy, that healing is easy. There has to be special conditions. There has to be special words, special salve, special poems, special rituals that has to be adhered to on special days, on blue moons, or it has to be not on this day and on that day. All of these special conditions have to happen in order for us to have our healing. Or do they? This is a question. And it's a question for the conversation. I would love to hear what you have to say about this. So Jesus was a teacher that's pretty helpful. I mean, he went around healing people and he saw himself as healed and holy. And I think that's the major thing right there, is that you cannot give what you do not have. And so we're asked, first of all, to heal ourselves. We heal ourselves by being in peace. Once we're in peace, we've healed our mind. From that, all things are possible. And you will know that you are healed when you begin to experience a sensation of wanting for nothing. As Reverend Elizabeth preaches, that Byron Katie, she teaches like loving what is. I don't need anything else. I'm so in love with this moment. I couldn't even imagine anything else. And as soon as you get there, all the other good continues to roll in too. And you're like overwhelmed with the goodness of God. So if you love what is, the current condition of God that sits before you, if you love what is, you will never have to question your fears, because the next 4 questions that Byron Katie talks about is this true? Is this really true? Would I be without this? But if you just stay in loving what is, you don't have to go through the process. So here's the thing. Even Jesus, with his pristine holiness, he could not remove the idea of ailments from us. So he cured the leper, but he didn't heal leprosy for all the world. He cured the crippled man, but he didn't heal or eradicate the experience of being crippled. We can still choose that. And why didn't he heal that? Because it would remove from us our God-given right to choose. We all get to choose. And we come here to experience the knowledge of good and evil because we're heir to Adam and Eve and the apple and all of that. But we could decide, that we're done with that experience, and we could individually decide for heaven. Lesson 193 of A Course in Miracles, and I'm going to wrap up with this, invites us to wake up, and it gives us this possibility of what we're waking up to. It says, wake up to your happiness, undisturbed, eternal, and forever gaining scope, eternally expanding in the joy of full creation and eternally open and wholly limitless. So he's saying happiness is your birthright, and that this is a state that is available to you and me as we continue to move through the energetic awareness of our true potential, and that it's not against us, that we're one with it. So there's a current God's love for you. And the question is, do you want to be healed? Because I know that sounds crazy, but a lot of us are like, no, I'll wait till tomorrow. I'm still sort of like sucking some juice off of this broken story. But if you want to be healed in any area of your life, pick up your palette and walk. The first thing you will meet is peace. The second thing is presence and purpose. The third thing is guidance, awareness. And this current state of God is where there's no lack and no need. Jesus walked the world in sandals. He didn't have more than that. And yet he wasn't a beggar. His needs were met and exceeded through his conscious awareness of his source. And his needs were not self-centered. He was a community man who was invested in the well-being of his brothers and sisters. In the quote from A Course in Miracles, he says, I'm here only to be truly helpful. I'm here to represent the love that sent me. I don't have to worry about what to say or what to do, because the love that sent me directs me. I'm content to be wherever that love would have me, because it goes with me. And I will be healed as I let him teach me to heal. So you can stop shadow boxing with your problems and exhausting yourself. You're currently invited to the field of sufficiency and faith. And if you want to be healed, just say the word. So everybody in the pool, and that's the word.
Thank you, Maureen. Wow. I'm like, I felt like I was one with you in this talk today. You know, as you were talking earlier, I started to think about that Rumi quote, out beyond the field, out beyond right and wrong, there is a field. And then the next thing you were saying it. And I just want to thank you for that beautiful message. It was just stunning. It doesn't surprise me. I know what a brilliant presence you are for allowing creativity to flow through you. And, you know, I just want to like say to everyone, like, I don't feel like, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, Maureen, like you're not spending months creating these talks. You're just doing exactly what you were sharing, which is being at peace, getting that guidance, and the words just come and they flow through onto the page on the computer. And it's so powerful. And we all get to be invited into this.
Yeah. And another thing is, I don't even know what I'm talking about half the time. I swear to God, I'm like, oh, this makes sense. I'm not even sure I believe it, to tell you the truth. I'm like, I hope somebody else kind of, conflicts with this, because it can't be true. I swear to God. I swear to God. Like the idea of like, you don't need to have a process. It's all a light switch. I'm like, but there's some ritual, and I almost want somebody else to do a sermon that like in defense of ritual or in defense of process. I don't, but here's the thing, it doesn't matter. That's the truth, Beth. Like you and I, everyone here, we all have the potential of letting go of ourselves and being fully used. And God, it's so much easier. It's so much easier. It's so much easier.
Well, this is the beginning of the conversation, but we're going to pass it over to Mari for announcements. And, I imagine that, oh, I'm sorry, I'm going to pass it over to Lucia for music. And then, thank you. I'm out of order here. So I'm passing it to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Beth. And thank you, Maureen. Wow. I feel like I have a lot to digest. I feel like I've had this big, huge meal and there's just a lot of chewing that needs to happen. So thank you so much. And what I'd really like to offer at this point is a poem. And it's called Love After Love. And it has a lot of connections with what you've just talked about. So I'm going to play some music and speak the poem over the music. And what might happen is that you may not get to hear every single word, but I want you to just close your eyes, receive the music and receive the words as much as lands in you. A little bit like Maureen's talk, which is such a huge meal and maybe there's a nugget that lands. So similarly with this poem, I invite you to just allow the music and the words to wash over you. It's a poem, beautiful poem called Love After Love by a man called Derek Walcott. And let me just, my speaker has just decided to switch off. Give me a second. Here we go. There will come a time when with elation you will greet yourself arriving at your own door. In your own mirror. And each will smile at the other's welcome and say, sit here, eat. You will love again the stranger that was yourself. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the one who has loved you all your life, whom you have ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Take down the love letters from the bookshelves, the photographs, the desperate notes. Peel your own image from the mirror. Sit and feast on your life. Give wine, give bread, give back your heart to itself, to the one who has loved you all your life, whom you have ignored for another, who knows you by heart. Sit and feast on your life.
Wow. That brought tears to my eyes. I'm really left speechless.
Yeah, it's a powerful poem.
Yes, it is. Thank you so
I'll
much.
pop it in the chat as well. But there is something about the alchemy of you and the alchemy of me and the alchemy of the words that appear when we come in communion like this. So yeah, it's landed in this present place.
Thank you so much for that. Do you have another song now or later?
Whatever you wish.
Can we do both?
Pardon? Can we do both? Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so this song, it's the words in it are Sanskrit words, both Sanskrit and English, but there's two really beautiful words in this chant. It's aham prima. And if we break down that first word, aham, so we begin with the ah. And this is, if you even make the sound of ah yourself, just try it. Ah. So ah is all that we are. So when we make the sound of ah, there is nothing in our mouth that is blocking the sound in any way. It is the whole universe. So when we sound the ah, it's like everything from inside out is present, where everything is in the ah. And the hum, the ah hum, is bringing it back in. And so aham actually means I am. So that complete expansion of I am. So aham, just try that and bringing the hum back into yourself. And the second word is prima, and anything that has ma, I'm hooked. But prima is beloved or loved or precious. I am divine. Aham prima. So that's going to come in afterwards. We're going to do a little bit of English first, and the words again very simple, and the melody is really simple. Come and sing with me, please. I know I am one with this love. I know I am one with this. No, I am one with this. No, I am one with this love. With me. I know I
Beautiful. That felt sacred.
Thank you.
I wanted, it was like a meditation I wanted to just stay in. Yeah. Thank you so much for your feast of music and your spoken word. It's just stunning. We are going to now pass it to Mari, who will do the announcements.
Thank you. Good day to all. Thank you. We would like to thank everyone who donates every week to our community. Your financial gifts allow our virtual non-for-profit community to offer free classes and events throughout the week to support you in your spiritual journey. There is a donation link in the chat, as well as in our website where you can add your donation. Just go within and see what is for you to give. Coming up this week, today we have at 3 p.m. Central Time, Culture Club that is led by Reverend Celeste. On Saturday, January 15th at 1 p.m. Central, we have the Mary Magdalena Meditation Circle, and that is led by Liz Wasserman. There is a full calendar of events that is located in our website, and all the time zones and details on those events you can find at SpeakEasySpiritualCommunity.com. Just go to the calendar and that's where you will find them. We also have coming up starting February 10th, the Maiden Voyage second journey. The Maiden Voyage is an 8-month journey that takes women through the 7 stages of the feminine divine to step into their most optimal state of being. There is a wait list forming, so if that is something that interests you or you want to find out a little bit more about it, just follow the link and that will get you to the wait list and a little bit more information, and Maureen and Beth will join you. Will contact you. So then you can have a little bit more information. And stay tuned next week. Next Sunday, we have special guest, Barbara Aerosmith Young. She's the author of The Woman Who Changed Her Brain. She will be right here on Sunday being our guest speaker. So come back. And I pass it back to Beth.
Thank you, Mari. I'm so excited for next week for our guest speaker. And I'm excited to be in this conversation today with you, Maureen, and the rest of the community on energy, currency, flow, making that choice to be at peace, and really stepping out of any sense of victim consciousness into being with what is. So,
Yeah. Want to kick it off with Mia Sarah sharing that story about her immediate healing, or is there somebody who has their hand up that wanted to share or ask a question?
Excuse me, Beth, ask people to raise their digital hand and leave their video on so I can find them.
yes. Yeah, if you'd like to share, please raise your digital hand. And Mia.
I guess I'm being called.
Well, only if you want to.
No, it's okay. No, it just came up this morning that a few months ago we were on a call and we went into a meditation, and the meditation was around forgiveness and working with one brother. And the person, that usually comes up first is the one you need to work with, and who came into my awareness, but my beautiful ex-husband. And, I could literally see him standing there in front of me. And I did the work. I didn't think I'd done it any differently than usual, but I guess the difference was that I really wanted it. I really wanted this to be healed, and I wanted to choose peace. And I was finished with carrying that story, I guess, that there was something between us that was other than peace. And I'm going to say, because I think it was within a few hours, and I think it was the next day I shared it, but I can't remember exactly. But I got a message from him, and he never messages me. And he messaged me something like, what are we going to do about our daughter? So there was something going on with one of the girls. but to enter into that shared space of parenting with him, which had never actually happened either. And it was just such a miracle in the moment. And it was instantaneous, I felt anyway. It was like literally just this really quick turnover. Well, what I shared this morning was, that not only did I get to see him with fresh eyes, but he also got to see me with fresh eyes. And the energy, since I were talking about energy, the energy between us just changed up completely. And that flow of energy between us, that current is still current. That current hasn't changed. It is still there, and it's still open, and it's still loving, and it's still kind, which is really miraculous, because the last day I remembered it being like that was practically like our wedding day. It was even that on our wedding day. So it's like, it's more than a miracle.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that.
But the thing is that we forget these things. We actually forget the miracles that, we've had. So I think it's important to share the stories of the miracles that we've experienced.
Yes.
Because we're so quick to share the stories of the shit that's happened in our life, or the disasters that have happened in our lives, but we forget to share the miracles.
Yes.
And so it was just lovely to get that reminder this morning of that miracle.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I so appreciate, I love the Course in Miracles, but it's all theory. And it doesn't really get sunk into our bones until we add it to a story, an applicable experience like a story. And it's so helpful to see, like, it's not just theory, it actually works when you work it. And that's so generous. So I appreciate that.
You're so welcome. I have to ask, am I the only one that when I look at the picture of Jesus behind Maureen, I see him with his tongue sticking out? Like from here, you look, I'm gathering it's that his beard has, but it's like an optical illusion.
I don't know. I got this at an old garage.
Oh, someone else does, Esmeralda.
Yeah,
I can see what you're talking about, but when she moves, it's not. But
it was when she was right.
Anyway, in certain positions, I didn't see that before, though. That's funny.
Yeah, and my piece on defiance. So I still use too much toothpaste, because my father stood beside me one day and measured out the correct amount of toothpaste that one should use. So this child that's so defiant to me still goes up and loads of toothpaste, probably poisoning my system.
Fight the power,
because I can.
Thank you.
Thank you for sharing that. And you're really speaking to this idea of like basing life on things that there's a precedent for. And we're saying, even if there's no precedent, in the limitless nature of God, you can step into an unprecedented place and be healed.
Because here's another thing is, like, we want to let go of our past grievances and let go of our past definers. And we actually also want to let go of our future fantasies and future possibilities. We want to see if we can stop swinging from here to there, because the ego will say anywhere but here. I'll be anywhere but here. Keep me distracted and dazzled with my divisions or with my, like, just for shits and giggles, maybe we could try out like just being present. Just a thought.
Great idea. It is the challenge, isn't it? To just stay present, stay in this moment, stay here, and not get distracted.
Yeah, and the theory is that our good is at hand. So as good as you think you're going to get some sort of future goal, like if you're not here to enjoy it, what are you grasping for more? We're like most of the time, like sort of like asking for more with our mouth full. Like, can we be in the digestion of this moment and the marinade of this moment and the sweetness of this moment? Like, look, I'm preaching something I don't always practice, but like, I'm thinking that that's the optimal idea in regards to experiencing limitless energy. And that's what we're talking about today. We're talking about energy.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything they want to share before we pass it back? Sinead.
Hello, lovely ladies and gents. Maureen, your talk was just so amazing, and it just really hit home about when we can move from that energy of fear to when you talked about moving into that miraculous energy. And it just reminded me, I just wanted to share a story that I have been estranged from my two sisters, so which means that I haven't seen my nieces either. And I'd reached out, over the years to my niece, who, is a little bit older, by sending her cards or writing to her, and nothing would come back. And I was in that, trying to hold on to that, and holding on to that fear of feeling like, well, if I reach out again, will it just be a rejection? And one day doing the course, doing the miracles, and I got this real sense of what you were saying, Maureen, about moving out of the energy of fear, and where the possibilities of just being present, where we hold no attachment to an outcome. And that's where the miracles will happen. So we were doing the course one morning, and I just got this feeling of just reach out to her once more. And I didn't even have her number. I don't have a phone number for her. So I just had to go and look on Facebook and try and find her. And I sent her a message. And a bit like Mia's story, almost instantaneously, she emailed me back. She messaged me back and just said, "Thank you so much for reaching out. It's so good to hear from you." And it was in that too moment of a little bit of what you're saying, Maureen, about just letting the miracle be present and having no attachment to, oh, well, now I need to worry about, well, will she still message me in a week's time or 3 weeks' time? And I didn't. I left it to, I didn't even say, oh, I want to talk to you next week, or will you get back to me? And like, after not speaking to her for nearly 8 years, and she turned 21 last week, and at least I was able to send her a card and say, but what I'm saying is that when you move into that energy of miracles, you have faith that the connection will stay without having an agenda.
Yes.
That's what I kind of picked up from what you're saying too. Yeah. Okay.
Wow, that's so great, Sinead. Again, thank you so much for the application of the lessons, because it actually works when you work it. It's incredible. And yet to not have attachment on it. You know what I mean? The form will take the form. The truth is, even if they didn't call, like, it would be okay. But like, to have the demonstration is beautiful. And then to like know that that this demonstration was enough for my mind to be healed around the whole thing forever, and whatever needs to be will be.
Exactly. And it was that moment, and you just reminded me of that, when my mind was at peace with it, then the form took place, the miracle took place. So my mind wasn't in that place of, but I've done this before and I've done that, and I was just completely at peace of, from my heart to her heart, that's what I sent out. So so thank you so much I just wanted to share that miracle.
So beautiful.
Thank you.
Just so you know, Sinead and Mia will be hosting a 6th round of A Course in Miracles around Easter. So these two women are not just teaching it, they're living it. They're applying it to their lives. And that's what I love. And I so appreciate that, Sinead. Thank you so much for sharing that.
Thank you, Maureen. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you. We have Miss B back.
We have Miss Brenda back, and then Miss B, I don't know if she didn't put her hand down or if she put her hand back up, but go ahead, Brenda, and Miss B, if you want to share, put your hand back up. Okay. Hi, Brenda.
Hi, thank you. Yeah, I was just feeling like this lens of, like, when we're observing shitstorms, that like a reminder, like, okay, this is the squeeze that's going to create the diamond. And that's really, great reminder. And I don't know if any of you have watched this series on Netflix, The Maid. And it's about this young mother who, is like struggle after struggle after struggle, and the system is failing her, it seems, and everything. And all these things are squeezing her. And at the end, of course, her diamond shines bright. And so, personally, going through witnessing some people, in my family, like going through their squeeze, and I can just trust that the shine's going to come out of it. So thank you.
Yeah. And, it's not to negate that we have these feelings, this weather comes, you know what I mean? It's like feeling shitty right now and scared and confused, all of that. But what I know is that it's not to punish us, it's to polish us. like something will come from this. I will be damned if I'm not blessed by this. And it's not, and you don't want to rush through those type of squeezes, because that'll be really awkward. You know what I mean? But you want to see if you can find peace even in that squeeze. Like feel yourself into peace, and do what you've done is like reach out to people, say, I need to process this, I need prayer. You know, you have a community of people who are here to support you. So you don't have to go it alone. That's key. You know, that's key, because when you ask somebody for help, it's a blessing to that person as well. It's always a mutual healing. So we love you, Brenda. We know this too shall pass, and congratulations on the new grandbaby. And yeah,
Yes.
you're getting polished.
Yes. Giving you a big divine mother hug.
We have another song coming up, but first we're going to hear back from Miss B.
I don't really know what I want to say, but I do want to say that I think in part of my response was misunderstood, or maybe not understood fully in context, or maybe I wasn't listening carefully enough because I was cooking. But I just wanted to throw that out there, and I don't think it's necessary to elaborate. But okay.
Yeah, tell us more.
Oh no.
Okay. All right.
We're here for the conversation.
Well, I mean, I think for myself, you know, and you know, my long experience in practicing a specific type of Buddhism, like you can accept the miracles, but that doesn't mean, like you're in the moment, but you still have direction by how you identify who you are. Like, and my point was kind of about like, if you're identifying yourself with like your negative parts, or the parts that are not so beautiful, that puts you in a direction in the future of continuing more of the same, as opposed to thinking like I can become this amazing thing.
Yes.
And you know,
So Miss B, all I'm suggesting is that that is a realm in energetic consciousness where it's still saying, I'm going to use my thoughts to change my life.
Right.
And then the next thing, and that is a necessary step. You actually can't skip that step. You can't just go from victim to everything's against me to I'm going to just channel God. You have to learn how to use your thoughts. So I totally appreciate that. Yes, absolutely. And it's you know, and we will vacillate throughout this, within an hour we'll feel everything's against me. Oh, I'm going to change my thinking, I'm going to let go of everything, or I'm one you know, I'm one with the divine. You know what I mean? It's like there's like, you know, we will swing, and it's all of those places are just about being aware that we are able to choose again at each realm, that we're able to choose again and again and again and again.
Right. Yeah.
So thank you. Thanks for coming back to be clarified. It's important to be understood, not just heard.
I appreciate it being welcomed to clarify.
And I feel that gem helped everyone.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, Lucia, welcome back.
So
Finish
much.
us up here with your magic.
Yeah, thank you. I had 3 pieces arranged, and we got them all already. So I'm here thinking, okay, what's the next piece? And just to say, that poem, that Rumi poem, is actually one of the signature poems of the Naked Voice. But I need my harmonium to play it, and it's somewhere else. But there's a beautiful chant that goes with that. I'll share it another time. Out beyond, we add an extra line. Out beyond ideas of right and wrong doing, there is a field, a singing field. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. I'll meet you there. So I am going to sing about more air. This is a song called Breathing In, and it came to me at a time when I really felt lost and didn't know where to turn. And when you were talking about being in community, it made me think of this song, and it was about when I breathe in, maybe I can find what I need in there. So I hope you enjoy it. Even when I think that I'm alone, even when I think I'll never find my way back home, all I have to do is think of you, breathing in the air, you are there, breathing in the air, I find you there, breathing in the air, I find you there, breathing in the air, breathing in the air, breathing in the air, you are there. In my darkest night, no moonlight gleams, and my heart is low, shadows fill my dreams. I turn to you, calling out your name, breathing in the air, you are there, breathing in the air, I find you there, breathing in the air, I find you there, breathing in the air, breathing in the air, breathing in the air, you are there, breathing in the air, I find you there, breathing in the